Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be giving my match predictions for Week 11 Premier League fixtures. And if we get anything like we just saw in Week 10, we are in for a treat. We saw some amazing results. We saw Arsenal finally beat Liverpool for the first time in a couple of years. We saw Manchester City continue in winning ways against Southampton, beating them 4-0. We also saw Chelsea Potter march on to another victory in their last fixture. So let's see what's going to be happening in Week 11. We got Liverpool versus Manchester City at Anfield, and we know these two are the best two sides in the Premier League last season. We got Chelsea versus Aston Villa at Villa Park. Let's see if Steven Gerrard can return back to winning ways. We also got other games at Leeds versus Arsenal. So let's see who's going to be winning in Week 11 Premier League fixtures. However, before going to this video and give my predictions, you know what I'm going to say. Make sure you guys like, comment, and hit that big subscribe button right there. And make sure you guys in the comment section give me your predictions. So the first game I'm going to be predicting is Liverpool versus Manchester City. And of course, I have to start with this game. This game is pretty much the best game to watch in the Premier League for the last few years or so. So let's hope for another classic between these two great sides. However, going into this game, only one team looks like the team they were last season, and the other team look absolutely abysmal. And you know which team I'm talking about. I am talking about Liverpool. And I'm going to be honest, these two teams are usually very close when it comes to these sort of fixtures. Obviously, Liverpool winning the FA Cup 3-2, a lot of draws last season. However, going into this game, as a Liverpool fan, how could you really predict a Liverpool win? I know we're going to say we haven't lost against Manchester City in the last year or so. Also, Manchester City got an abysmal record when it comes to Anfield, only winning there once in the last decade or so. And the one time they did win, there was no fans in the stadium. However, form matters when it goes into this game. And how on earth are Liverpool going to have the belief in their system that they can pull off a result when this season they have been absolutely diabolical? Defensively, Liverpool look like a shambles, conceding 6 goals in the last 2 games. It feels like the defenders never want to engage when it comes to their tackles, even the DMs and the midfielders, which gives the other team license to roam around and create opportunities. Also, we lose the ball in poor areas, and it just feels like we're so slow and lethargic when it comes to literally returning back to our position to defend a certain goal. And if there's any team you do not want to do this against, it's the ruthless killers in Manchester City, who have scored the most goals in the Premier League so far this season. Even on a tactical basis, we can't approach it like we have been in the last few games or so. We can't play that 4-2-3-1 formation because we're going to be outrun, outgunned, and Manchester City, obviously, we know love to monopolize the ball. How on earth are we going to win the ball against ball specialists who know how to retain possession? We're just going to be disadvantaging ourselves if we only play 2 centre midfielders. So I think we should return back to our 4-3-3, bring back Fabinho. Although he has been in poor form recently, he does provide defensive stability, and he'll be able to obviously pick up those floating number 10s. So this is a must. Otherwise, we're literally not going to be anywhere near the ball throughout the whole game. Also, I know Anfield is a massive advantage for Liverpool, but we know Manchester City, the way they play, they can suck out the life of fans. They can literally retain the ball for 10 to 15 minutes, and the life of the fans, the spirit is absolutely gone, and Liverpool can't feed off the intensity of the atmosphere. So literally, Liverpool are going to be disadvantaged if Manchester City do this, or even get an early goal, which we know Liverpool love conceding all the time. They always concede first. Also, we got key injuries to Trent Alexander-Arnold. I know he's been poor in form, but going forward, he's one of our outlet balls who can create opportunities. Also, Diaz, one of our best wingers, he's not going to be there since he has a knee injury. Also, other key misses at Matip as well. So there's going to be so many changes which are going to ruin the balance and the continuity of Liverpool, which we just haven't had this season. I just don't see us winning. Manchester City are flying. They have been scoring so many goals this season. Although Haaland didn't have the best game against Liverpool in the Community Shield final, the movement was there, the chances were there. And if Liverpool dared to play their usual high line, imagine Haaland with his burst of acceleration. He is going to absolutely destroy Liverpool, especially with a Van Dijk, who is our best defender, who hasn't been in superb form at all season. So going into this game, I think it's going to be fairly easy for Manchester City to win. They should win. I am going to go for a dominant display. Yes, it might be shocking, but I think Manchester City might wipe the floor with Liverpool. I am going to be predicting a 3-0 embarrassing performance for the home side. And I'm going to go for a Manchester City win away from home. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Leeds versus Arsenal. And let's see if Arsenal can continue their winning ways, especially with that magnificent win against Liverpool, which is going to give them that belief and confidence going into the last few games or so before the World Cups begin. Arsenal have been in such superb form that surely they should be the favourites going into this game against Leeds United. And you know what it is this season? I don't think any neutral fan can disregard how well Arsenal have been playing as a team. We understand their playing style, how dominant they've been, and they've been literally putting teams to the sword every single time they play. No fan can deny that. But there's been a lot of whispers, a lot of people saying they haven't been anyone of significance. They haven't been anyone good or worthwhile. Finally, the Arsenal team have beaten Liverpool, which has been their bogey team through the last decade or so, not being able to pull off consistent results. That sort of win can unite and give the fans and the players belief that potentially they could do something very serious this season. However, Arsenal should not get carried away. They must take each game as it comes, because if you let the occasion play, that sort of pressure, that sort of anxiety can creep in and can prevent you from pulling off your best performances like you have been this season. And going in this game, Arsenal are going to take this as a game-to-game approach, because obviously they're facing Leeds, who aren't going to be the easiest outfit to face. However, they may be facing them at the best time, because we know Leeds have not won a game since late August. It's been a very long time. Players like Cooper in the defence has been prone to mistakes, conceding chances. Brentford has not hit the heights like he once did a couple seasons ago, taking too many chances and not being able to put the ball into the back of the net. So maybe Arsenal can pick off Leeds, because they have not been in great form themselves and they are looking for a confidence booster, especially since they have had a favourable run lately, facing teams like Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, where you're thinking they should be picking up 3 points. However, I do like some of these players who I feel like are dangerous. Aronson, who has proven this season against Chelsea that he can be a dominating force in the final third, creating chances and scoring goals. Rodrigo set the season alight very early, getting his goal tally up. So these two can be a threat against Arsenal, especially since we know there are some weaknesses within the Arsenal defence, especially on that left-hand side in Zinchenko and Gabriel. However, Arsenal's confidence is too high. They're playing with so much freedom, so much excitement, and I just can't see them losing. They've just been so dominant. The young forces going forward like Odegaard, Martinelli, Saka, Jesus, they've just been dangerous for any team to handle. Like I've said, Leeds defensively have been conceding too many chances, and I just can't see how Arsenal do not win this game, especially since they've had a decent record going to Ellen Road, scoring 5-1 season. So in this game, I'm going for a 2-0 away victory for Arsenal. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Manchester United versus Newcastle, and I think this has the potential to be the game of the weekend. Let's see if Manchester United can continue winning the ways, obviously beating Everton in their last fixture, maybe proving to some Man United fans that potentially that loss to Manchester City was one of a kind. It was an anomaly and it's not going to happen again this season. Man United fans and Man United players can take confidence from this victory against Everton, because although they weren't at their stellar best, look, ever since the turnaround on the Ten Hag, 15 points, they have won out of 18 points available. That is a turnaround, we can't deny that. And this sort of accumulation of points will do them a world of good going into this game against Newcastle. However, we can't deny things aren't perfect. Manchester United aren't at the stellar best when it comes to playing football, because we saw in the game against Everton them being wasteful, also lapses of concentration, losing the ball in dangerous areas, which allowed Everton to score the first goal. They can't be so sloppy in possession, especially going into this game against Newcastle, who we know have great ball winners within the midfield like Guimaraes and Willock to literally pounce on this and create chances for their forward players. Newcastle aren't no slouches themselves. They have only lost one game all season. And if you think about that game against Liverpool, you have some fans thinking, look, they should have actually ran away with at least a point at Anfield. So Newcastle have been looking very good under Eddie Howe, obviously continuing the development of their style of play and have been getting very good results. They have scored 9 goals in their last 2 games. So going forward, they are very, very dangerous. St. Maximin going against Dalot. That's going to be a threat because we know Dalot has a weakness when it comes to ball carriers, dribblers who know how to beat a man with ease like Grealish did to him. Now you're facing one of the most unpredictable wingers in the Premier League in St. Maximin. Guimaraes has been performing like he's one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, being able to do a little bit of everything, winning the ball back, providing passes, scoring goals. This is going to be a danger threat which Casemiro has to be on the lookout for. Also, other players like Almiron proving that he isn't a flop. Like Grealish said last season, he can actually get some goals. Wilson, we know, is the prototypical number 9 who can score goals when given chances. So Manchester United, you got your work cut out and you can't be approaching this game thinking that it's going to be easy. Brentford were gifting chances to Newcastle in their last game and Manchester United were doing a similar thing to Everton. So if Manchester United continue this trend, I'm telling you, Newcastle will take advantage and will be able to get a result. However, I am not going to go far enough to predict a Newcastle win. Manchester United's home record this season actually has been respectable, not losing since their first game of the season against Brighton. And I think Manchester United have found their footing when it comes to this season, at least in terms of knowing their best 11 when Casemiro has slotted in within that DM role, you know, putting out fires, and you got Eriksen and Fernandes ahead of him, being able to play a further 10 yards ahead because they can rely on the defensive midfielder to literally obviously protect the defence. So going into this game, I'm going to be predicting a 2-2 goal scoring affair. I can't see either team taking away all 3 points. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Aston Villa versus Chelsea. And I think this is going to be a very, very good game to watch. Let's see if Steven Gerrard can turn things around under Aston Villa and get a surprise victory against Chelsea, who have been performing very well under Graham Potter recently, winning 3 or 4 of their last games in a row, 2 in the Champions League, 2 of their last games in the Premier League. So Steven Gerrard has his work cut out for him, but let's see if he can formulate a plan to defeat this Chelsea side. However, going this game, I must pay homage to Chelsea. I must show them the respect they deserve, especially under Graham Potter, who looks like already his ideas, his style of play has already been implemented, which has given Chelsea so much success so far. His style of play has made the passes feel more instinctive, quicker, faster. It doesn't feel like players hesitate on the ball, and this style of play literally unsettles the opposition, draws them out of position because they can't remain within their low block when there's so much fluid movement all around the pitch. Pulisic had a very good game in his last fixture against Wolves, literally driving down that left hand side, and in a Potter system, that left wing back or that left winger you want to say gets so much time and space on the ball like we saw Raheem Sterling did in the Champions League game against Salzburg in Graham Potter's first game. So let's see if Pulisic can stamp his authority and make this his own position, that left wing position in Graham Potter's system. However, we can't deny that Chelsea are still very wasteful. Yes, they're creating more chances on average compared to under Tuchel in his last few games or so, but they are still failing to convert chances. Pulisic was wasteful in the game against Wolves. Gallagher, Mount, Havertz had so many goal-scoring opportunities and weren't able to put the game to bed. So if they do this against Aston Villa, you never know. Maybe Aston Villa can walk away with a point or 3 if Chelsea are as wasteful as they are. However, we saw Aubameyang in his game in the Champions League against AC Milan going on the goal-scoring sheet yet again. I feel like he's cementing that position as his own. And Chelsea looks so much better when they have a natural number 9 who can convert their chances. Also, Chelsea are catching Aston Villa at the best time right now. Aston Villa have already lost 4 games this season, haven't looked well. Their style of play hasn't been working. It still feels like Steven Gerrard is tinkering, not knowing what his best formation is, what his best system is. We don't know if Ings is better to start alone or Watkins or play both of them. So let's see if we'll be able to formulate a game plan to defeat Chelsea, which I feel like is going to be very highly unlikely. So going in this game, it's a no-brainer. Gallagher looks much more improved in that advanced role. Pulisic looks like a new player within that left wing back position. Reece James has that well-needed rest. I can't see anything but a Chelsea win. I am going to go for a 2-0 away victory for Chelsea within this fixture. So the last game I'm going to be predicting is Tottenham Hotspur versus Everton. And like I predicted in the game against Brighton for Spurs, they were going to soak up pressure, sit back and counter-attack. And you know what? It didn't pay dividends. I felt like they were very fortunate within this game because Brighton at times were wasteful and weren't able to convert in their chances to punish Tottenham Hotspur. Going in this game against Everton is going to be much different because we know Tottenham Hotspur are home. They're going to have the onus to take the game to Everton because obviously the fans will be pushing them on. And let's see if they'll be able not to sink to this pressure. I like their little adjustment Antonio Conte has done, adding an extra midfielder within their system. Obviously playing a 3-5-2 rather than a 3-4-3, providing much more stability and allows them not to be outrun by the opposition within the midfield. And I think they must play this system yet again against Everton because we know Everton have been so successful playing a 4-3-3. It will be excelling in his new role, obviously scoring against Manchester United. So they're going to have to match Everton within the midfield so they can monopolise the ball and dominate this game at home. I feel like stick to Kane and Son up front because we have seen in seasons past and this season they got great chemistry and they can be a nice partnership up front to score goals, and you don't necessarily need a Kulusevski or Richarlison to support them at this moment of time. As we know as neutral fans, Tottenham Hotspur aren't one of the best teams to watch. I think this game's going to be mundane, boring, slow, methodical. It's going to be a very slow build-up play, but I think Tottenham Hotspur will be able to muster at least one chance where we know they got clinical forwards to put the game to rest. Everton are one of the best defensive teams within the league prior to the game against Manchester United, having the best defensive record with Cody and Tarkowski at the back. However, I feel like it's just going to be too hard to keep Kane and Son quiet, which a lot of teams have struggled in the past and within this season. So I'm going to be predicting a 1-0 victory for Tottenham Hotspur